right. Welcome to GK Pro's next day coverage of the 2019 Idlewild Open, driven by the Nati and Innova discs. I'm Nate Perkins, and I'm joined here today with Kevin Jones.
What's going on, Nate? I'm happy to be here, and here we are on an extremely difficult course in Burlington, Kentucky. This is the Idlewild. The Idlewild.
We're back in America, dude.
I know. Here we are.
Feels pretty good to be back.
Yeah, it happened really quick. Everybody that was in Europe got back on pretty much Tuesday at the earliest.
Mm-hmm. Did you get a round in?
Yes, I got a couple rounds in, a couple practice rounds, but sleeping wasn't too much of an issue either. It seems like it's a little bit easier to come back to the States rather than go to Europe.
I agree. And moving right into our card, we have the newly crowned 18 and under junior world champion.
That's right, Nate.
Zach Arlinghaus.
Yeah, huge props to this kid who's absolutely having a great year, throwing the disc like nobody's business, and seems like he's really proving himself.
He's 16 years old, and he won the 18 and under division by 15 strokes. Just a few weeks ago, he's actually a local talent. He's from the area, so this is going to be really awesome for the locals to see this kid compete on one of their favorite tracks.
First up on the tee, we have Double G, Garrett Gurthie, one of, if not the farthest thrower in our sport. Gonna bomb a destroyer. I can't tell if this is one of his Jeff Ash destroyers, but I believe so. The beautiful die.
And Garrett was actually just recently promoted to the Innova Star team, so huge congratulations to Garrett and Innova for that. Wow.
He made it look so easy.
He's like 20 feet.
That was Circle's Edge. Oh my goodness.
640. I mean, it plays a little bit downhill, but wow.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely like one of those. It's the 7th hardest hole on the course, but that's just because there's OB on the left side that you might find yourself like hyzering out to. Really, this is a hole you want to start off with the easy 3. Calvin is looking to do that. That's mashed.
We're gonna go back-to-back circle 1 drives here.
It looks
I think
like
so,
it.
dude.
What?
This is so sick.
Okay, this started off a little bit crazier than I expected.
That is a huge shot.
Unbelievable. And now we have Ried Frescura from Michigan, I believe. Nice lefty. He usually bombs a nuke on shots like this, but this might be a force.
Yeah, he is throwing a nuke. It's a good call.
And that's the normal landing area for most humans.
Yeah, that's a pump, and I'm just so stoked to see this kid rip. He's ripping on a Ballista Pro.
Yeah, he's still really small out there on the course, so I'm interested to see how he manages getting the distance. No problem. That's huge.
And no hesitation either. No, I mean,
Yeah.
he was like full on run up into that pad.
Yeah, ready to go. And this is a good spot to be. Left side, he's past all the junk. He has a very straight line at the basket. The only problem is the green is a little bit quick. He hits the tree that's about 20 feet from the basket. He's going to be putting for his birdie. Ried Frescura laying up for his easy birdie.
And they
Garrett
elevated this pin this year, and it changes things.
Yes, I love that decision. Yes, sir. Give it to him. Starting out 2 under par.
Oh, yes, Garrett.
He is, I'll say it, the best at throwing that shot in the game.
Yeah.
That tee shot where you have to hit it maybe flat or on a slight hyzer and really let it flex and go straight and control the angle and everything. He is so good at that.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know anyone else who can control distance like him.
Okay,
And
wow.
we got 2.
That's unbelievable.
2 2s on hole 1. I don't know if any other card has done that.
No way. I'll tell you right now. There's no way there were more than 2 2s on a single card. Unbelievable.
And Ried with a nice 3. And Zach hit that cage on his 25-footer. No harm on a par.
Nope. Starting with a par is just fine. And there were 3 twos on that hole total, so that was 66% of the twos on the hole.
And you being the third.
Myself being the third from definitely not as close as those guys.
Circle 2?
Just inside.
All right. That's a huge putt on that elevated basket. And we're moving on to hole 2, par 4, 610 feet. They actually moved this one back this year. It used to be right here in the placement that we are flying up to, and they have pushed this one back a good 120 feet. It's pretty guarded, and it makes for an interesting par 4.
Yeah, for those of you that were watching last year's coverage, I believe that the change in this hole really puts a little bit more stress on the tee shot. I think that now, if you do not get by or out of this gap like Gurthie is heading to right now, if you're not out of that gap, getting a birdie on this hole is extremely difficult when last year you could still sneak out birdies because the distance just wasn't incredible. Sidearm is definitely the go-to play here, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think it's the more popular play, and we saw Garrett would go with that rock 3. Calvin's just a little early, but plenty of power, and he's going to be in position.
Yeah, early is a fine mistake. There's really just one tree that you want to miss in this fairway.
And there is a little OB left that can come into play if you hang on to it.
That's very true. The second that you yank it too far to the left, you absolutely can take a bad kick and cost yourself some strokes. Ried also taking the early line. Looks like the same disc he threw on hole 1.
Yeah, it's another nuke.
This hole sets up very nice for Zach.
This is Zach's defender.
Defender, is it stable?
Yeah, it's likely pretty stable. Just on the edge. He might be a little out of position.
Definitely a little bit, but he has an opportunity.
And just such a smooth swing.
Very smooth. It slopes very hard down to the left there where he was heading, so it takes some good angle control to not fade out way to the left.
We're about to see a righty sidearm from the lefty. He's got it all? He's got both ways?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what to think right now.
Into circle 1?
My first assumption is maybe he's just one of those guys, that has an extremely good lefty backhand and an extremely strong righty forehand, but I'm really curious if he has that lefty forehand.
I'm curious as well.
Either way, that was extremely impressive.
Yeah, that was sick. From tucked off onto the left side, he had to put some ante on, and he's inside circle 1. Also a good approach from Ried.
Yeah, right inside the circle, looking at a birdie. Calvin in prime position.
Yeah, even after that early release forehand, he's way up here on the hill.
Yeah.
It shows you how fast his forehand was moving forward.
Solid shot. Would that leave him about circle's edge?
Yeah.
Garrett Gurthie from 40 feet.
He's going with the Sonic.
Interesting choice. I like it. Try to glide it in there. Play catch. Calvin looks like he's about to thread some trees.
Put the pizza in the oven, as he says.
Really?
Yeah, that's what he thinks of when he's putting. Put the pizza in the oven. You never heard that?
No, sir. I've never actually thought of that. Just off for Zach right there. That was his birdie putt. Goodness. Wow.
Yeah.
Getting a look at birdie with that righty forehand is gross.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Tapping in a par.
It's an interesting putting style, too. He's like holding that putter way out in front of him, like dead weight.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of who that reminds me of. Definitely somebody.
Chandler Fry does that a little bit. He like holds that putter out in front of him and kind of moves it around in his hand to feel the weight of the putter.
Yeah. Alrighty, a bunch of pars and a birdie from Ried, it looked like.
Moving on to hole 3. Par 3, 407 feet, downhill pretty much the entire way. You've got OB left side, and actually this year, the creek right in front of the basket is OB. So really these players are looking to push this one long of the pin if they can to ensure that they're safe.
That's exactly right. I think you're going to see more people throwing slightly more overstable plastic here, just so that they can end up with the finish over the creek and not even have to mess with it. Because landing in that creek would leave you with about a circle's edge putt for par, and nobody wants that right here.
Yeah, no one wants that. I mean, yeah, a lot of players were throwing fairways last year, and they've actually gone a little bit faster so that they can ensure that they get past that creek.
Mm-hmm.
Ried is going faster. He's throwing a glow crank right here.
Wow, that's super fast.
This one's flipping up, and that is exactly what he drew up. Gets a little kick to not be inside the bullseye, but he's going to have 20-foot putt looking back at the basket.
That was a fantastic shot. I would imagine he's going rock here. What do you think?
Yeah, I would imagine he's throwing a rock as well. It looked a little faster. It almost looked T-bird-ish.
It kind of did. I just wouldn't ever think he would not throw a rock here.
Yeah, he could just throw it straight to it, no problem. And that one just flipped up a little too much for him, but got a favorable kick.
Yeah.
And this is going to be an eagle from Calvin. And I don't know if anybody is throwing the eagle like him right now. Maybe Greg's still working the eagle, but
yeah, in a little bit different way. There's
definitely different.
Yeah. That's super pretty from Calvin. Hitting the tree right in front of the basket. I believe he's still going to be safe, though.
And this is a Ballista Pro, and that gets just over the creek, and he's going to be inside circle 1.
Yeah, that barely snuck over the creek.
Yep.
Great result.
See if that can get little Zach going. Oh, and he thought he had it, started walking it down, and look at this stance right here. Look, his shoulders are completely turned and just fires it. That is a unique putting style, Kevin.
I like it. I like it a lot.
A little sharpshooter.
Yeah, for sure. There's something about lining yourself up with the basket, and we all do it different ways. So I can appreciate the uniqueness. Very great putt from Ried Frescura. That's a good birdie from him also. Calvin as well. This hole is actually the 12th hardest, so not a very difficult hole according to par, but there really weren't a ton of twos on it. It's kind of a tough one to get down there in the circle and secure a two, so just the scoring separation here isn't just too crazy. You're going to get a 2 or a 4 at most.
And shout out to Emerson Keith for carding a hole-in-one on hole 3.
Man, I wish I could have seen that shot.
Yeah, he hit it with a 12 speed. Pretty sweet.
So we have hole 4. Where the camera is flying right now is last year's position. This year, they have simply just moved it closer to the water. It's more risk-reward scenario now. This is right up Ried's alley. I'm so jealous of this right here. He's going to bomb a nuke, and I've seen him do this so many times. I love the angle.
Look how wide he gets to start this.
So committed.
Oh no. And it
so wide.
Just never comes back.
Man, that's costly too. It looked great, but
basically a re-tee.
Yes, I believe it is. Unless there's a drop zone on this hole I don't know about. Calvin making a similar mistake, but the opposite direction.
And those discs are gone.
Yeah, I know.
I can't imagine getting those back ever.
I know. That water's pretty nasty. But there is luckily some staff that goes in and tries to fish them out for us. Zach Arlinghaus throwing an extremely committed shot.
No fear at all, and just bases it.
What'd he throw there?
He's throwing a Ballista Pro right there.
My word. What a shot.
Committing that one out over the OB with a semi-flippy disc, too.
That's so crazy. Zach's about to go 2 under after the last 2 holes. That's really impressive. Garrett Gurthie going very smart play, in my opinion, playing away from the water to the grass. He'll have an easy 3.
Oh, so Ried is re-teeing.
Ried is not messing with that anymore, for today at least. Laying up to 70, 80 feet. And
yeah, it's going to be a tough layup for double bogey 5.
Yeah, it's never fun.
This change, it's not much. It's only 50 feet or so, but Oh, no, he doesn't.
Whoa. What a putt from Garrett Gurthie. Putting it really high, just so that if he does miss, it probably wasn't going to the water. That's just such a touchy, beautiful putt.
I mean, the OB's right there, though. If
I know,
if
right?
that misses, that's gone.
I know. Definitely if it takes any kind of weird action.
That's a good par putt from Calvin.
Yeah.
And just an absolute park job. Wow. What a shot from Zach.
That was awesome.
All right, moving on to hole 5. Par 4, 555 feet. So we've got an OB creek on our left the entire way. Good shots are trying to end up right over here, this big oak tree.
That's right.
Forehand is a pretty common play. The left to right turnover or a big roller if you can get one down here and into this wall for a chance at eagle. But this green is pretty small, OB Creek all around it, and you want to get distance off this tee to make that approach that much easier.
Yeah, the green is so small and there's so many trees in the way that you have to be as close as possible. Zach throwing a really solid shot right to that oak tree, like you said, and definitely some work left, but very manageable from there.
Yeah, that's a pretty ideal tee shot.
The worst mistake you can make on this hole is just yanking it over to the left just enough to go OB, and this might
is gonna
be
huge. Oh no, and
oh, what a tree.
Wow.
Woo.
That was certainly headed OB.
At least to the OB. It might have had enough steam to roll over, and I don't know, look at the roots on the left side, but still, like, that was going places.
Yeah.
He threw a destroyer or a wraith there or something super fast.
Yeah. He's definitely going for the 2.
I love the roller play. You can get down there so far. Calvin opting for the turnover, which
this is beautiful.
Just an incredible line. Are you just hitting?
He's airing it out past every tree.
That's just so nice to be able to be that close to the basket, putting for an eagle.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, it certainly changes things because you can see just how many trees there are before the creek. It gets pretty tricky if you don't get distance off this tee.
Yeah, you have to get really creative. Ried is going to end up right side fairway, which is, it's okay.
Just going to get a little roll.
Yeah, no doubt. Right to the oak tree. All righty. Work to be done from there. This is a fun shot. This is a common shot also from where a lot of drives land. He's going to throw a high, soft shot, really flat up to the right of the basket and just let it fall safe. The zone is perfect for this shot, in my opinion. That's a little hard. Is it slowing down?
All right, checks up. And these are the type of shots that are just unique to Idlewild.
Definitely. This one specifically. These very touchy layup shots. I like that play from Zach. That's cool.
And these turf greens, we don't see much like it. The first time I saw it, I felt like I was in a little playground or something.
Yeah, definitely. Has a cool feeling to it, and it looks really nice also.
And this is for an eagle too.
Give it to him.
Oh,
so many chains just off the left side.
And that would have been his second eagle in 5 holes.
Oh, Zach just short, but taking a par is fine, No stress, no nothing.
Yeah, after his drive, he decided. So Ried and Zach were in a pretty similar spot.
Right.
Ried decided to attack this green. Zach decided to lay up before the creek and try and make that circle 2 putt. Just comes up a little bit short, but that's the risk-reward part of Idlewild right here. You've got several of these approaches onto the green where you can decide to give yourself a putt if you're trusting it.
Yeah, everybody's facing a decision after their tee shot on this hole.
Shout out to Basket Case Disc Golf out of Tulsa, Oklahoma.
It's a great store. I've actually been in it.
Oh, nice.
I recommend checking it out if you're in the area.
Yeah, helping the GK Pro stay out on the road. This is really awesome that they're able to come out here and film this action from Idlewild. Hole 6.
Par
par 3, 437. And this one, man, this is a tough tee shot. It's
I keep walking up to this hole thinking that I can just throw a nice flippy fairway driver, just bend it in there. No way. This hole is so long.
yeah, it is 437. You've got these trees right off the tee on your right.
I like this play, though. I love the roller. That's turned over, or not turned over quite enough, but the thing about the roller is even when they do that.
Places. Where is that going? That's crossing the road.
It did.
I mean, he went through the tree and still had enough spin. He just ripping over on the disc.
Yeah, that was not at all what he was looking for, and he's still inside circle 2. So the roller plays really well for this hole.
Yeah, it's so tricky because that tree that you see on your left, it kind of takes away the ideal angle of release for the right-hand backhand turn.
No doubt. Calvin not getting enough turn on it. He's going to end up with a 120-foot up shot at most through a couple trees. No big deal. Should be a par for him.
And on paper, this one might set up for the lefty, but it's a really, really weird hyzer angle.
Takes some monster power too. I'm not quite sure how I'd attack it if I was a lefty. Looks like Zach's throwing mid-range here.
Yeah, he is. He's throwing a verdict, toning back, and looks like he's deciding not to attack at all.
Yeah, he's just saying hit the gap, let's get up the fairway, and then I'm going to throw a little hyzer in there, take my 3, move on.
I was kind of hoping to see a big lefty flick.
I know, that definitely sets up for the flick. That would have been cool. But remember, he's got the righty flick.
Wow, and he's going big hyzer.
Yeah, no problem there. A little bit of meat left on the bone.
Kind of looks like that's exactly how he wanted to play it, is mid-range and then hyzer around.
Seems like that's his game plan.
No, and I'll say it right now, no one's ever been here. I don't know if I've ever seen a disc past the basket on this one, like an up this far up the hill.
Yeah, to go OB long would be something special, and he at least touched the OB long.
I think he crossed the road at one point.
Yeah. Zach, nice little pressure putt for par. Yeah, count it.
Put him with the judge. It looks like that was a judge. It's cool to see.
This is a really cool card. A lot of fun spirits on this card.
A lot of birdies so far, too.
Definitely. None on this hole, but 4 down, 4 down, 3 down, 2 down for the card is a very, very solid start.
And we are getting into some of the most technical holes that you're going to see on any disc golf course, but certainly on the Disc Golf Pro Tour. Hole 7 is a monster. Par 4, 484 feet, and the gap that you have to decide to go for is maybe 10, 12 feet across.
Yeah, it's not very big at all, and it's such a crucial tee shot. Hitting this gap is absolutely crucial to getting a good score on this hole and making it through. You're going to see a lot of sidearms. Landing anywhere where it actually dog legs is just fine.
Yeah, you're teeing off. So if you touch anything really, you're headed straight for OB. I mean,
yeah.
that gap is sending you right over an OB creek.
Good.
And if you do go OB, you're going to a drop zone looking straight up the hill, and it is really tough to get up and down.
I am really surprised that Garrett does not opt for the hyzer route on this hole.
Is that still there?
Absolutely.
Really? Are you bombing a hyzer?
We saw of 3 people that took it yesterday on my card, 2 birdies and a bogey.
Really?
Yes.
So you're just bombing the hyzer. Is it going out before the tree on the pad or underneath it?
You can see that L tree right there, and we're throwing it right through there real high, and it's landing all the way up there.
And you're just scrambling from there.
Pretty much, but it's avoiding what Ried is messing with right now, and that's that gap. That gap is daunting.
Yeah, it really is. When I think of Idlewild, I think of these gaps right here. I dream of these gaps.
Yes, absolutely.
And there is another right-hand forehand from the lefty. It's so sick. And a late tree, but he's going to be safe with a very tricky approach.
That's about all Ried can do from there. Just move yourself up the fairway to the flat. Now he's got a straight putter shot, not too far. Zach is on such a slope right now. Like, I don't even think he could throw a normal shot. He needs to go something like this if he wants to get it up there. Whoa, it's missing trees. Get out of here.
Dude, he's circle one with the forehand roller up the hill.
What a shot from where he was. That was quite impressive.
So Calvin was really pinched off, actually, after his tee shot.
That happens a lot whenever the tee shot just goes a little too far straight. You find yourself missing the gap.
And look at Garrett's body language. Did you see that?
No, I
that
did
little
not.
movement. That got his body out of the way to get that hyzer.
Yeah, that's kind of his signature form. I've noticed him doing that a lot, especially when he throws mids.
This looks great.
Go in.
Go in.
That's good damage control from Ried. I believe he's going to be taking a 4, which is a fine score on this hole. Ooh.
Nice little anhyzer bid from Calvin.
Oh, man, Zach's in such an awkward spot right here.
This looks like a tough putt.
Oh, looked like it was just low. Such an amazing upshot to get there. He will settle for par.
That putt is so interesting. His right arm is like not really involved in the putt at all, which you don't really see ever. I can't really think of anyone. I mean, I know Paul kind of holds it down toward his hip, but Zach's is like almost behind his hip. Really unique style. That's just what separates disc golf from other sports in my mind, is how unique everyone can be in their style.
Yeah, it's the beauty of our sport. There's no doubt about it.
Shout out to Innova Champion Discs for sponsoring this Disc Golf Pro Tour event. And we've got another doozy. Hole 8, par 5, 576. This tee shot is so pinched off. The right-hand backhand shot, it's really tough to get this one in a great position. Forehand is a popular play on this hole, the forehand turnover, or force over rather, with something stable.
If you're trying to get there in 2 shots on this par 5, you have no choice but to go forehand. Maybe forehand backhand if you have an incredible like turnover backhand like Conrad, but this tee shot, yeah, because he proves us wrong every time.
Every time he's like, "What do you mean forehand?"
Yeah, even Garrett right there, like the best he's gonna do is a birdie, and that's fine. That's getting a 4 on this hole is a great score, but this is how you score really well on this hole.
Oh, this is beautiful.
Beautiful shot, man.
Wow, Calvin.
Yes, and that's in literally the perfect landing zone. He will have another sidearm that if he hits and connects through that gap, he'll be looking at the basket.
And depending on where his lie is, it could be a really similar shape too.
Yes.
Could be a little force over with something stable.
Could be. Or it could be, even if, depending on where it landed, it could be flex, flat, or a hyzer. Ried with a solid shot, ending up actually just short of Garrett, though.
So this is one of those holes where if you make the corner, it kind of becomes a pretty simple par 5. But if you do not make the corner, it gets treacherous quick, because if you get a bad kick into the rough and you're pitching out before the corner, it can turn into a number, and we've seen it quite a few times on coverage here.
Yeah, well said. So what Ried's trying to do here is lay it right up in the middle of the gap. Maybe in the flat would be ideal, and from there he's going to have in between 150 to 200 feet left. Not an easy upshot at all. And what is Garrett going to do here with the tree on him? Get out of here.
To even attempt this.
It's not going to turn over, but the fact that he got the disc out of his hand is impressive to me. That tree looked like it was right in his swing, but he has so much body control that he took himself away from it and got the shot off.
He's going to have a little pitch up for a birdie. Oh, this is sweet.
That's a great shot.
Keep flying.
With the skip. What a skip, putting him at 40, 45 feet.
For eagle.
With
throwing with two different hands.
So Calvin was in primo position, but the unfortunate thing is that's a very, very difficult shot from there still.
Yeah, it's tricky. Yeah, he was pretty much in. I mean, he only had to go flat to hyzer on that.
Yeah, that was way up there. Ried does not execute that upshot. He's going to be left with a lot of meat on the bone. Well played from Calvin. Can't take those shots for granted. That's how you score on this course.
Yeah, exactly. This is what separates this from other events that we're used to seeing. Is all these shots that they're throwing in an open field would have been within the circle, but here you have to be precise the whole way through the flight to be able to score.
Yeah. This is Garrett Sonic for a birdie, but he just got caught up on that left side and was not able to get up and down. He will be taking a 5, which is par. Ried has an amazing jump putt.
Yeah, we've seen him hit some big ones.
Yep, just off the mark there. Zach.
That's an eagle 3.
Ooh!
Look at this.
This kid in the zone right now.
Wow.
Much respect to bring yourself down and focus and knock down a downhill 40-footer for eagle in front of the people. What a putt, Zach.
And that was that getaway shot, that second shot from him with
so
that
good.
late straight skip. That was amazing to put him in that circle 2 range.
Yeah, that was so good.
What an eagle from the 16-year-old. Really showing up. I mean, after winning that world title, having all this pressure from the locals and everything, you know, he's really stepping up to the plate.
Yeah, I can't imagine what's going through his head right now.
All right, we're moving on to hole 9, par 3, 258 feet. Another very tricky left to right moving hole. Very skinny gap.
What a good short hole this is.
Yeah. It's a curveball for sure. It definitely takes a lot of touch. Forehand is a popular play, but the deal with the forehand is this green is sloping down left to right really quick, and good shots tend to roll and skip outside of circle 1.
Yeah, definitely. Like the forehand pure route.
Oh, and Calvin just hung on to that one a little too long.
Yeah, missing the gap, and that's going to be tough from there.
Very tricky.
A lot of trouble. But the pure forehand route does not really go exactly to the pin. It goes a little bit right of the pin, sometimes in that tall grass. That's what makes this hole very tricky, though. Sometimes you try to get a little bit touchy on it, and you find yourself missing the gap and getting in trouble, like these gentlemen.
And please tell me that you saw James Conrad's ace.
Oh, I saw front row seats, man. That was unbelievable.
Oh, you were on the card, dude.
I was on the card.
Oh
He
my
threw his
gosh.
flippy AVR on a hyzer. Oh, it's unfortunate for Calvin, and that's going to be a terrible spot for him. That's where a lot of drives end up when you miss the gap, and he's going to be struggling to get up and down from there. Let's see what Ried can do. That looks like it's well played. Yeah, right there. That's a good up and down for par.
And this is not a fun shot. I don't even know where that is. Is that outside the circle?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Pin high, but it looks like it's just outside circle 1.
Yeah, that's a good example of what this course can turn into, though. Like,
Yep.
what seems like a pretty straightforward, simple hole can turn into a nightmare.
Yeah. And depending on the kick, too. I
Yeah.
mean, he missed, but that second kick was brutal.
Yes, sir.
And he's going to be taking a double.
That's right, a 5. That's tough. Gurthie threw such a good shot. Did he throw a Sonic on the
he threw
tee?
a Sonic off the tee,
Man.
dude. I mean, that's a It's like a Frisbee.
Yeah, we can't let that be overshadowed. That was beautiful and well done by Garrett to secure a birdie. But yes, James Conrad, throwing his flippiest AVR on a hyzer through the gap and never stopping the turn straight into the middle of the chains.
It was like a 7 o'clock hyzer release.
It
was unbelievable, dude.
That's the way he throws that disc. It was really unreal.
Matty O called it a corkscrew pile drive ace.
That's what it was, a corkscrew for sure. I'm with Nati there.
All right, that was a pretty legit front nine. Garrett Gurthie at 6 down. And Calvin, after that tough double bogey, is going to be at 3. Ried also at 3. And Zach, after this sweet eagle on hole 8, is at 4 under par. Thanks for joining us on this front.
Come check out the back, everybody.